Here we discuss the transmission line parameters. So we have already seen that the general transmission line equation of a transmission line depends on the four distributed parameters R, L, G and C at a given frequency. So the electrical properties such as the propagation constant and the characteristic impedance depend on this parameters at a particular frequency. So we have already tabulated the four distributed parameters of a parallel plate transmission line, so which are given by these equations. So now we have to get the four distributed parameters for a two-wire transmission line as well as for a coaxial transmission line. For this, we have to assume that the conductivity of the conductors of the transmission line is very high. So even though it is not perfect or infinite, it is very high, and therefore the series resistance R is very small. So we can almost neglect it in the calculation of the propagation constant. So R very small implies that the wave through the transmission line is approximately TEM. If R is very large, there will be a longitudinal Z component Ez, and the wave is deviated from the transverse electric nature. So R is very small, so that the wave passing through the lossy transmission line is approximately Tm. So we have discussed all this in part 2 of this module, and we can see that when we neglect R, the propagation constant, which is already written as root of R plus j omega L into G plus j omega C, becomes root of j omega L into G plus j omega C. Since R is very small compared to L, j omega L plus R is approximately equal to j omega L itself. So now dividing, taking j omega C as a common factor from those two, we get j omega L into j omega C, j square omega square L into 1 plus G divided by j omega C. So this can be written as j omega LC, root LC into root of this, that is 1 plus G by j omega C raised to half. So this is the propagation constant if R is very much less than L. But we already know that the propagation constant for a transverse electromagnetic wave in a medium with parameters mu, sigma, epsilon, etc. are given by j omega root mu epsilon C, where epsilon C is the complex permittivity, so which is equal to j omega root mu into epsilon plus sigma by j omega. So this is epsilon C. So taking epsilon outside, we get j omega root mu epsilon into 1 plus sigma by j omega epsilon. So which can be written as j omega root mu epsilon into 1 plus sigma by j omega epsilon raised to half. And also we have seen that the ratio of the conductance to the capacitance is sigma by epsilon for any two conductors separated by a dielectric medium. So comparing these two expressions, we can see that there is a j omega over here and a j omega over here in equations 1 and 2. And here we have G by C, and here we have sigma by epsilon. So those two expressions are same provided root LC is equal to root sigma by epsilon. So this expression can be written as j omega root mu epsilon 1 plus sigma by epsilon is g by c. So g by j omega c. So this is 3. Comparing this equation with 1, we can write root of mu epsilon is equal to root LC, or we can write LC is equal to mu into epsilon. So this expression is a very important expression. So since because once the inductance per unit length of a transmission line is known, we can easily calculate the capacitance as C equal to mu epsilon by L. Or once the capacitance per unit length is known, the inductance per unit length can be calculated as L is equal to mu epsilon by C. And once C is known, we can easily calculate the conductance per unit length as G is equal to sigma by epsilon into C. So we have to know the parameter, either the parameter L or C, then we can calculate L, C and G. So one more parameter is left, that is the resistance per unit length R. So this resistance per unit length is determined by introducing a small axial component Ez. So as a perturbation in the TEM wave, and finding the ohmic power dissipated per unit length of the line. So we can calculate small peak sigma as we have done for a parallel plate transmission line, and then we can calculate capital P sigma. So from the capital P sigma, the resistance can be calculated, which is the coefficient of this will be actually half I square R. So the coefficient of half I square will give R. So we can have all the 4 distributed parameters for the transmission line. And this expression LC equal to mu epsilon is true for a lossless transmission line also. So we have seen that the phase velocity of propagation of a lossless transmission line is given by UP is equal to 1 over root LC. So we have derived this expression in the previous class, and therefore this is equal to, since LC is equal to mu epsilon, this is equal to 1 over root mu epsilon. So as the velocity of the propagation of an unguided plane wave in the dielectric medium of the line. So we have proved this expression for parallel plate transmission line. LC is equal to mu epsilon, and this expression is true for lossless two-wire transmission line as well as coaxial transmission lines. So now using those expressions, we can calculate L, C, G and R of a two-wire transmission line as well as a coaxial transmission line. So first of all, we have to find out either capacitance per unit length or inductance per unit length. So once C is known, L can be found out, or once L is known, C can be found out according to this expression, and G can be found out using this expression, and R can be calculated using this method. For a two-wire and coaxial line is an assignment for you, and we have just tabulated the results. And first of all, for the two-wire transmission line, C is found out. So you know how to find the capacitance of two lines separated by a dielectric medium, two wires separated by a dielectric medium. Then you can find L according to the expression. LC is mu epsilon, and you can find G also, and R can be found out by introducing the ohmic power dissipated in the medium. So similarly, we can do for the coaxial line. So first of all, you can find either L or C for a coaxial line. Then do the same as before. Here R is written in terms of RS, which is the resistance of the good conductor, which is root of pi f mu c by sigma c. So these are the 4 distributed parameters of a two-wire transmission line and a coaxial transmission line. So these are the 4 distributed parameters of a parallel plate transmission line. Okay. So now we have to calculate the attenuation constant from the power relations. So we know that the attenuation constant alpha is the real part of the propagation constant gamma. So for a general transmission line, gamma is equal to root of r plus j omega L in G plus j omega C. So we can find this attenuation constant using the power relations also. So we know that for an infinite transmission line, the relation for voltage and current are given by V of Z is equal to V0 e to the power minus gamma Z, and I of Z is equal to I0 e to the power minus gamma Z. So we have used V0 plus and I0 plus. We have dropped this for simplicity, and this can be written as V0 gamma is alpha plus j beta. So e to the power minus alpha plus j beta Z, and I of Z is equal to I0 e to the power minus alpha plus j beta Z. So we have seen that the time average power propagated for a dielectric medium, it is half into real part of E cross H star. But here instead of E and H, we use V and I. And since V and I are not vectors, we don't have the cross product. So the time average power here, P of Z is equal to half into real part of V of Z into I star of Z. So instead of E and H on the transmission line, we write the parameters in terms of the voltage and current. So this is equal to half into real part of V of Z is V0 e to the power minus alpha plus j beta Z, and I star is conjugate of this I0 star. So we have to replace j with minus j e to the power minus alpha minus j beta Z. This is equal to half into real part of V0 I0 star into e to the power minus 2 alpha Z. E to the power plus j beta Z and e to the power minus j beta Z cancels. And we know that for an infinite transmission line, the ratio of voltage to the current at any point, V0 by I0, is equal to Z0. So I0 is equal to V0 by Z0, and I0 star is equal to V0 star by Z0 star. So substituting this over here, we get half into real part of V0 V0 star by Z0 star e to the power minus 2 alpha Z. In order to calculate the real part of the expression easily, we multiply the term with Z0 divided by Z0, that is by 1. So we get half into real part of V0 V0 star is V0 square, Z0 Z0 star is Z0 square into e to the power minus 2 alpha Z into Z0. So out of this, these are all real. Z0 is only the imaginary value, and real part of Z0 is R0, since Z0 is equal to R0 plus JX0, the resistance plus J times impedance. So this is equal to half into V0 square is real by modulus Z0 square is also real. E to the power minus 2 alpha Z is real into real part of Z0. Real part of Z0 is R0. So half into V0 square by Z0 square e to the power minus 2 alpha Z into R0. So this is P of Z, the time average power propagated along the transmission line at any Z. So from the law of conservation of energy, the rate of decrease of the time average power propagated along the line. That means the rate of decrease of P of Z with distance along the line equal to the time average power loss PL per unit length minus dou Pz by dou Z is equal to the time average power loss PL per unit length, that is PL of Z. So here P of Z is the time average power propagated along the transmission line at any Z, and PL of Z is the time average power loss per unit length. So according to law of conservation of energy, minus dou P of Z by dou Z is PL of Z. And we can calculate minus dou P of Z by dZ from this expression also. We got an expression for P of Z, and from that dou minus dou P of Z by dou Z is equal to V0 square by 2 modulus Z0 square R0 into derivative of e to the power minus 2 alpha Z, that is minus 2 alpha into e to the power minus 2 alpha Z. So there is a minus sign over here. So minus into minus will be plus. So we have 2 alpha into V0 square by 2 modulus Z0 square R0 e to the power minus 2 alpha Z. So this is nothing but P of Z itself. So this is equal to P of Z, 2 alpha into P of Z. So let this expression is termed as expression A, and this one is termed as expression B. So from A and B we have minus dou P by dou Z. So comparing these two expressions, we get PL of Z is equal to 2 alpha P of Z. So then alpha can be written as PL of Z by 2 into P of Z. So this is the another expression for the attenuation constant. So the attenuation constant alpha can be written as PL of Z divided by 2 into P of Z, where PL of Z is the time average power loss per unit length and P of Z is the time average power propagated along the transmission line. So this is the expression for attenuation constant from the power relations. Now we can do a problem. Demonstrate the analogy between the wave characteristics on a transmission line and a uniform plane wave in a lossy medium. So we have already got the characteristics of a transmission line. So the propagation, we got the transmission line equations, the propagation constant gamma, and the characteristic impedance Z0. So for a transmission line, the transmission line equations are given by minus dV of Z by dZ is equal to R plus j omega L into I of Z, and minus di of Z by dZ is G plus j omega C into V of Z. So these are coupled equations, and by decoupling these equations we got an expression for V of Z alone and I of Z alone, which are given. Square V of Z by dZ square is equal to gamma square V of Z d square I of z by dz square is equal to gamma square I of z, where gamma is the propagation constant which is given by the expression root of r plus j omega L into g plus j omega c. And there is a characteristic impedance Z0, which is the ratio of voltage and current for an infinite transmission line. So Z0 is given by r plus root of r plus j omega L divided by g plus j omega c. So these are the characteristic properties of a transmission line. So now we have to get the characteristic properties of a plane wave in a lossy medium. So for that, consider a lossy medium with complex permittivity epsilon c, which is equal to epsilon prime minus j epsilon double prime. And here we have to assume a magnetic medium with complex permittivity mu c is mu prime minus j mu double prime. So generally we assume that mu c is mu itself for non-magnetic media, but here we discuss the general case. So the Maxwell's curl equations will be del cross E is equal to minus j omega mu h equal to minus j omega mu c into h. So del cross E is equal to minus j omega mu prime minus j mu double prime h. So those equations for mu c are true for both magnetic and non-magnetic media. So these are the general expressions. For non-magnetic media, mu double prime is 0, and for magnetic media, mu double prime is non-zero. And similarly, the expression for h is del cross h is equal to j omega epsilon E. So the epsilon here is replaced by the complex permittivity, and therefore del cross h is equal to j omega epsilon prime minus j epsilon double prime E. So now consider a uniform plane wave characterized by an electric field that is polarized along x direction. That means the electric field has got only x component, and the electric field varies with z, since it is a uniform plane wave and it has got x component only. So we can say that this equation del cross E reduces to, so since electric field is having only x component and it is a function of z alone, d by dx and d by dy are zeros, only d by dz exists, and therefore del cross E is nothing but a y cap dez by dz. So substituting this in the above equation, you get dez de by dz is equal to j omega mu prime minus j mu double prime h. H has got only y component, so the y components on both sides cancels, and we have an expression like this: j omega mu prime minus j mu double prime hy. And similarly, we get an expression for h from the expression for del cross h. H has got only y component, and that h is a function of z alone. So minus dhy of z by dz is equal to omega. So this expression can be written as j square is minus 1, minus minus is plus, omega mu double prime plus j omega mu single prime hy. So similarly, please get an expression for this, and it will read omega epsilon double prime plus j omega epsilon prime ex. So those two equations are analogous to the transmission line equations d by dz minus dv by dz and minus di by dz. The only difference is that here v is replaced by e, and r is replaced by omega mu double prime, and L is replaced by mu prime, and I is replaced by H, and G is replaced by omega epsilon double prime, and C is replaced by epsilon prime. So these are the coupled equations, and we have to get the decoupled equations. So please get the decoupled equations using the procedure we have done for the transmission lines. And the decoupled equation reads d square x of z by dz square equal to gamma square x of z, and d square hy of z by dz square is equal to gamma square hy of z, where gamma is equal to root of omega mu double prime plus j omega mu prime into omega epsilon double prime plus j omega epsilon prime. So these equations are analogous to the propagation constant and the decoupled equations for a transmission line. Now we can calculate the intrinsic impedance of the medium, which is the wave impedance of the plane wave traveling in the positive z direction, which is given by eta c is equal to root of mu c by epsilon c, which is equal to root of mu prime minus j mu double prime divided by epsilon prime minus j epsilon double prime. So taking minus j outside the expression, we get minus j into mu double prime. 1 over minus j is 1 is written as minus 1 into minus 1 by minus j. So that is minus minus cancel, minus 1 by j. So j square by j is j. So into plus j mu prime by minus j epsilon double prime plus j epsilon prime. Cancelling minus j's, we get this intrinsic impedance of this medium is equal to root of mu double prime plus j mu prime divided by epsilon double prime plus j epsilon prime. Multiplying numerator and denominator with omega, we get omega mu double prime plus j omega mu prime divided by epsilon double prime plus j omega epsilon prime. And we also got the expression for the propagation constant, and we can see that these are analogous to the propagation constant and the characteristic impedance of a transmission line, provided we replace r with omega mu double prime, g with omega epsilon double prime, L with mu prime, and C with epsilon prime. So we have demonstrated the analogy between the wave characteristics on a transmission line and a uniform plane wave in a lossy medium. The impedance, the propagation constant, and the line equations are analogous. So because of the analogies, many of the results obtained for normal incidence of uniform plane wave can be used for transmission line problems by replacing these quantities with corresponding R, G, L and C. And many of the expressions for transmission lines can be used for a uniform plane wave in the lossy media as well. So because of the analogies, we can use the expressions for uniform plane wave in a lossy media for a transmission line and vice versa. Thank you.